All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is December 4th. I think this is the last meeting of the year for us, isn't it? Or is my brain hurting?
You
I
might
don't,
be right.
I don't even know. It's just, I'll figure that out later. Thank you all for being here. Here is the big screen. Thanks for coming to Digital PNA. We take your message and we syndicate it, baby. That's what maybe I should change the new saying to that. Move to the next screen, please. It's not moving. There he is. There's my big bobblehead. We're moving on. Got a couple people out sick today, unfortunately. So a few folks won't be here. A few folks are traveling. Karen is off being a grandma. She's a rock star. We are expecting, I think Mike should be on the call. He's just might be running late. Mara is neck deep in pickleball, setting up their new facility in Linwood Goodness. And that is all one word, just connected with maybe dashes. She called me the other day and she was in panic mode. She's like, do you know anybody who? And I'm like, yes, I do. Here's her information. Do you know anybody who? And I was able to connect her, but she's
Did
busy.
she ask?
She'll be
She
back
asked for.
next year. She pretty much
Oh,
said, don't count on me for anything. So I was like, all right, all right, all right.
gonna say, does she need a bookkeeper?
Um, I don't know, but hey, Bulldog Rosie, go get her. Just grab her by the neck and shake her. Make that happen.
Yes.
Need to get some volunteers or voluntolds if necessary. I'm always the timer because I got the screen colors. Can we
I'll
get
doodle.
which one are you doing?
Doodle.
Oh, doodle. Okay, good. That's awesome.
I'll track quotes.
Emma's going to be the tracker. Thank you, Rosie. You're the photographer then, because currently Marcel is speaking today, so she can't take a role because she's
Okay.
focused and awesome face and stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and do our commercials. We know how to do this. We've been around the digital room plenty of times. So launch into it. I'll put it into the chat window. We're going to have Marcel do the first commercial because she's speaking. So we promise to forget everything she says during her commercial.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with your social media strategy heading into 2025? If it's less than 7, we should talk. If you thought 3, 2, 6, I would love to be your social media manager and trainer next year. There's a lot of opportunity right now for people who are brave and creative and thoughtful. Don't be left behind, you guys. I want to help you. That is my job. That's my specialty. I help smart and wise and creative people do great things online with video, infographics, instructive graphics, blog posts, editing, copy, writing, all the things. I'll even help you write scripts so people say yes to you in your sales appointments. How cool would that be? So with that being said, I'll pass it back to you, Rosie.
Nice save.
Am I next? Yes, I am. Okay.
Yep, check out the chat window.
I just added up. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, here to help.
Anyways, Rosie with Tap Services, and guess what? We are at year end already. And with year end is going to be your W-2s, any 1099s that are due. And then, of course, some people don't know what W-3 is, but that needs to be filed as well if you're an employer. For any employees that are in W-2s. So that's kind of what I have been focusing on this last month and getting everybody caught up. So, and people are coming out of the woodworks. Usually businesses want to start at the beginning of the year. So if you know any businesses that are looking to start and they need help forming LLCs, I can do that. They need, help starting a business or getting ideas, I can do that. So, as you go around, and if you see anybody that needs help starting their business in 2025, I'd be happy to, guide them and coach them along.
Awesome. Check out the chat bar. Heath, you're next, buddy.
Oh, I'm next. Okay, thanks. Well, hi, everyone. My name is Heath. I know pretty much all of you. It's been a bit of a transition kind of quarter for me, if you will, but I now represent a company called TJ Corporate Credit. So at TJ Corporate Credit, what we do is we sort of specialize in helping business owners access funding that they need to grow, and at the same time protecting their personal credit and their assets. So most business owners don't realize that by building like a strong corporate credit profile, they can unlock high limit credit lines and secure better loan terms without having to rely on a personal guarantee. So our process really, it's not about getting funding, it's about creating, for lack of a better word, a foundation for long-term success. So we take a real step-by-step approach to help the business strengthen their credit worthiness in the eyes of lenders, and it ensures that they have the financial tools to expand their operations, maybe take advantage of new opportunities or unexpected things that come up. And again, all while safeguarding their personal finances. It's about separating your business from your personal. And I'll just close with this. What sets us apart is we really have a commitment to empowering the business owner to achieve financial independence from their personal credit. And by doing so, we not only help them grow their company, but something I mentioned before, help protect their families' financial security and reduce their personal risk.
Awesome.
Thank you. Well, with that, I'm going to talk about the holidays. I know we're always looking for the best gifts to give. If you have any grandparents or parents out there that are not sure what to get their kids, grandkids, I would highly recommend a life insurance policy. Reason being, that's the gift that keeps on giving. It's also a great way to leave your legacy. It also can help guarantee the insurability of those kids. So as they are older, maybe with health issues, they can still get themselves increased insurance as well. It's a great way to kind of give something that, like I said, keeps giving instead of some cheap toy that might break and requires lots of batteries.
Awesome. I love that. Although I personally always want to make sure that I give noisy toys with batteries to my ex for all of their kids, for when my kids are there. Just anyway. Okay. Hi, everybody. Brian Trendler, Laugh Tech is the company. I co-own it with Miss Marcel Ellen. And I got to share, we love working with kids, man. We donated 2 hours of our time roughly yesterday, went out to the Snohomish area and did basically a humorous-based, not a master class, but a couple of tips to get people to become a better speaker, kind of a crafting project. And these kids were ages everywhere from 8 to 15. Within seconds, they were engaged. They were having fun. They were writing stuff down. They were trying. We were laughing. I made goofy slides, shocker, that had stuff that was kind of engaging. And it just brings such joy to my heart. I think probably Marcel's heart as well. And I tell you, any types of referrals, anyone that has kids or groups of kids, if they're having any problem, resiliency is needed, resiliency training, kids that are being bullied, especially with social media. If they want to learn how to take negative situations and turn them positive by learning how to laugh with each other and not at each other, it's an incredibly powerful tool. So we'd love those referrals. Okay, that's it, because we don't have anybody else on the call right now. I thought we'd have more by now, but not yet. I'm, of course, trying to get over to my slides, and it's 15 screens later. I don't know what happened to my slides. So glad this is being recorded. Give me a second.
Well,
okay.
You can make me co-host, and then I'll.
Oh, no, I'm just a goofball. I couldn't get it to work for a second. All right, here's our tangent. We're going to go back around the room in reverse, so I'll start, but hopefully this will make some of you smile. Can you all see that? Okay, at least I got it. For the tangent, I want to know a client that's on your naughty list, and then maybe a client that is on your, what they've done to earn a spot on your nice list. Not necessarily picking on Emma or Rosie, but I just felt the need to put someone's name in there. So, okay. So my answer for this tangent is actually from my design company side of things. I want to share that sometimes you hit a home run and other times you're in the dugout struggling to just hit the darn ball or get a chance to get up to plate. I had a logo client. Long story short, I've charged the same price for a logo for over 30 years. And normally it's done in just a couple of revisions, a couple of edits, and then I give them a full suite of saved file formats that they can use in almost every application necessary, whether it's an email signature on social media, all that stuff. Logos with the clear background, logos with the solid background, all that. This ended up being a 4-month project just for the logo, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So many edits, so many changes, last minute edits after it had already been essentially signed off on. And I really, really very simply thought about packaging up what I had and just giving it to her and saying bye-bye. But I couldn't do it because I knew that it would be bad for her, bad for me. It costs way much. It costs way more to clean up a mess afterwards, especially after it's hit social media from a risk perspective and beyond. I just took care of her. It took a long time, but she's on my naughty list. And from the nice list perspective, we know a gal who's out of the Snohomish physical chapter of PNA. She's a real estate agent. She's the one that got us this opportunity yesterday that I'm still thinking about. And I think I will throughout the holiday season because these kids had so much fun and it just warmed my heart. And the gal, Nicole Service, she loves Laugh Tech. She's never even participated in anything yet. She plans to next year, but she believes in us and she believed in us enough to bring us into a homeschooling community of hundreds of kids. We only got 54 in the room, but over 90 kids and their parents signed up for the event. So she exposed us to this group who's a bunch of really amazing, dedicated parents and kids. And I think that earns a spot on the nice list. So there we go. I'm going to take this screen off so we can get back to the chat screen. But I think the next person is back to Emma.
There you go. I can't think of any too awful clients. Luckily, we are pretty lucky, and Courtney's pretty specific with her clients, so we don't end up with any that are not the most pleasant. We do get a few that definitely will keep calling after we've explained, their personal reason for an increase, usually due to an accident claim of some sort, and then it's still increasing the next month because of the insurance costs going up, and then it just being a continuous cycle of them calling and going back and forth. And then one client I can say that definitely is on the nice list. We did a lot of work with them, a lot of quotes for multiple properties. They have some Airbnbs that they do, some cars, umbrella, all the work. And then was like, oh, I think we're going to wait. And I was like, oh, all that. We are so excited to get it. And then luckily a week later, she's like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and go with it. And we're able to get all the things switched over to us. So very excited for that one.
Awesome. Thank you, Emma.
Mm-hmm.
Heath.
So I don't, have any clients right now. I'm just sort of getting started, but I'll just make two real quick additions here. So my naughty list is, I forgot the name of this place, but it's the Insurance Testing Center down in Bellevue. I was scheduled to take a license exam there on the 20th. Well, if you remember back to what the 20th was, that was the day after the bomb cyclone. And here I was driving through Factoria, and if y'all know how skinny the roads are down there and how many people packed themselves into there with no traffic lights because nobody had a way to communicate to me that building had no power. And so I'm trying to get it rescheduled. 10 days ago, they told me, or 8 days ago, they told me it was going to be 3 to 5 days, and they would reach out to me to reschedule. I've heard zero, and they've got my money. On my nice list would be my office mate and coworker, Joe Jonart. He was not only such a beautiful human being to bring me into do some work at his company that's different from what I talked about, which TJ Corporate Credit is my main job, but I do have a couple other side hustles. But give me a place to go to work every day, and it's fantastic. It makes my life so much better not having to work at home. Nothing against people who work at home, but I can't do it. I'm a single guy. I live in a pretty small place, and I have no social life anymore. So other than maybe tonight, and I don't want to be there during the day. I need to be out. And he graciously gave me a very nice little office to work in, the desk, the chairs, even a printer that I just tapped on. So I'm a happy guy. And I love him for it. Thank you.
That's awesome. Rosie.
Yes, sorry. Multitasking here. Anyways, naughty list. Um, I can't think of really. Well, okay, I'll say this tongue in cheek, kind of funny, but Greg Elwin, our
Oh,
lovely friend. I get to see him Monday, and then because I'm planning to go to the PNA party, so hopefully I'll see you guys there. And yeah, it was just kind of like end of the year, and I'm just like, Greg, I still haven't gotten those like addresses for the flip properties that you have, and it's year end. So he finally responded to my text because I was hounding him, and he said, I was in Mexico for the last 2 weeks, so aren't you lucky? So, anyways, no, he's a good guy overall. I mean, I say that kind of jokingly, because he tried to hide from me last time I was up north, if Brian remembers. We accidentally ran into him, and he tried to hide behind the tree because he saw me
in a parking lot.
in a parking lot. Yes.
That was freaking funny.
So, anyways, but I would say on my nice list, like I like to talk about the nice list. I actually want to say Brian is actually on my nice list because he's given me so much like clients this year. I'm so happy. I was able to get Hope to sign on. Well, I'm waiting for her to sign, but she's actually gonna go ahead and use me for taxes and accounting services. And looking at other people that hopefully will join in the next year. So growing, definitely. And let's see, who else could be on my nice list? Yeah, I think of like, there's a lady that I know. I'm probably going to send her a gift this year. Margaret Mary is her name, but she's a bookkeeper that is looking, basically offloading people because she's looking to scale down. And I don't know if she's going to shut down fully or what, but she gave me a bunch of clients when I first started. I mean, and I got her because of PNA still in the end. So thank you, Brian, because it is like one connection to another connection to another connection. It's essentially, oh yeah, I got her from Carol Freeman, who is essentially kind of was part of PNA at one point, and
Wait, was it
I,
Carol? No, Chris.
Chris,
right?
not Carol. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chris Freeman. Sorry.
She's actually never been a PNA member. I knew
Well,
her for Toastmasters.
right, but you knew her from eWoman too.
Oh,
So you introduced me to eWoman, so it's still part of P.
oh, I'm still taking full credit.
Yes.
I expect my finder's fee to be mailed in small bills, preferably on
Yeah.
So okay.
Anyways, but yeah, so those are that's kind of my list, and maybe my naughty list will grow next year as I get busier, but we'll see.
That's awesome.
Hopefully the nice list keeps growing. So
yes,
my naughty list, probably I actually have one person right now who is 6 days late on a fairly large invoice for me, and I'm a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But cash flow, it's a thing, whatever. I have grace for all. But my nice list is big this year. I don't know if you guys have seen Mr. November. Brian, I shouted this out to the Bothell PNA this morning. They were all like, whoa, he's on the cover of a magazine, aka my newsletter. So, but like Karen Koenig, she's also on, she was Miss June, I think. All those people that I featured this last year are on my nice list. I love it when people collaborate. I'm working on another book with other authors to talk about budgeting. I've got a list going of really nice people that are helping me make hard topics much prettier. So I just love it when people, send me business and pay on time. It's pretty simple if it comes down to it. So back to you, Brian.
Thank you, Marcel. And once again, for anyone who's already clicked through that link, you don't have to have people run Scatter for the Hills. It's not a centerfold. It is not a swimsuit edition. It's not as scary as it sounds. Okay. Gonna go back to Marcel now because really quickly I get to share the screen, and there is one of her beautiful headshots. She is our speaker of the day. I'm looking very much forward to hearing her talk about stuff. Really quickly, Marcel, how long have you been in your business?
16 years.
Holy carp. 16 years. Okay.
I don't even look 16, do I?
No, you don't look a day over 17. What is the most favorite thing that you do for your clients? I'm hitting you with the curveball.
Just give them hope and encouragement and confidence. I love it when they go from like, ooh, to ooh, like they create because I'm able to encourage them.
Awesome. Okay. And I'm going to let you take over. I just made you host. I'm going to time you. So try to keep my bobblehead up on top of the screen. So
Yep.
you know when you're at the 10-minute mark and then the 19-minute mark, giving you a minute to wrap up.
This is a new presentation and it's a compilation of multiple digital assets I've created over the years. So I'm hoping it's helpful I'm training you all as my sales team, but also what the heck is data art? Inspired by Heath here. We have a great topic today. So buckle up. I'm going to go fairly fast because I got 23 slides in 20 minutes. But I want to talk to you about data art and what it is and how it could help you in your business. But before I get too far into data art, I want to train you a little bit more on who is Marcel looking for here at Dreamosity, because data art can help each of these, customer personas. So first off, in the top left, we have sales, Snail, Shelly, or Sam. These people are your typical underproducers. They're not hitting quota. Their sales game is clogged up for some reason, whether it's emotional confidence stuff or their scripts don't work or they don't know what to say in front of people. These people can benefit from data art. Presenter Pat, they are the teachers. They're at the front of the stage. They're the one with the clicker. They've got a message. They might be on video. These people often have really brilliant messages that are delivered poorly, or they're under marketed. They're talking to 12 people when they should be in front of 12,000. So I help people with data art connect that gap. Writing Wendy or Will, these are people who they're too wordy. They only use words and the internet likes visuals. So I really help visuals in the marketing collateral come to life for these people. And then people who are like, WTF, what just happened? I am so outraged, or they are inspired by injustice. So Iggy and Ingrid here, they're very thoughtful and they're like, how is this happening in America or in my hometown or in this office? So people who are a little bit outraged, I love them because they have a drive and they may need help making sense of that anger and turning it into a speech or a book or a workshop. So with that underproducer, they're always wondering, where's the money? How am I going to make payroll? How am I going to pay my rent? And these people, they can learn to have what I call relaxed intensity when it comes to selling, having a momentum and a speed and a cadence, but also not being, I'm desperate, right? Because that desperate vibe is no bueno in the internet. We do not like that. So how do we lead with gratitude? And I'll talk more about that. Now, these people, presenter Pat, they're brilliantly boring. Again, so wicked smart, but a terrible presentation. So they're wondering, oh no, am I going to put them to sleep? If you know people worried about that, I could totally help them take those presentations packed with information and turn it into something that's really exciting or interesting or actually useful for the team. And then too wordy Wendy here. So she's asking like, well, now what? I've written all these journal entries and all these prompts and she's really deep in her feelings, but journaling, it's a part of the process, but it doesn't solve all the problems. So data art can help people go from just the words into the pictures. And then back to inspired by Injustice Ingrid here. How can this be? Their righteous anger, it needs a place. It needs to be felt. It needs to be heard. And that annoyance, like there's a fine line on the internet between being like outstanding and annoying. Like there's a really fine line. And I want to help these people skirt that line because being boring is obviously not effective. But there are ways to test presentations, to improve presentations, to rehearse. And again, with the internet, we can present every day if we choose to. So we'll talk about visualizing momentum in a moment. And I always wonder with my clients, I always Brian knows this, I get a client and I put them up on a pedestal. I just think that they're amazing. But in the back of my head, I wonder, will they put in the work? Because while digital assets can be great, they do not solve the sales process and the sales appointments that still need to be run. And so I think ChatGPT is going to be cataloged into the wordy Wendy for today. So according to ChatGPT last night, the definition of data art, it combines visual creativity and data storytelling to present information in a visually striking and engaging way. For a salesperson, think of it as turning raw data like sales figures, customer demographics, or performance metrics into artwork that communicates insights at a glance. That was a little bit winded if you ask me, right? My version is combining logical information with artistic presentation. So whether we're looking at sales numbers, net worth, inheritance and legacy, video momentum, our chaos, like any tough topic, if there's data around it, we can make a picture or make a creative thing from that. And that's what I help my clients do as they're building out a body of work. So part of the problem with this is, I don't know if you guys know this, but a spreadsheet was developed by a man in the 70s. Are we surprised? No. And I think men are wonderful. And spreadsheets, they are great for calculating and counting and tracking, but they're terrible storytellers. They're not going to say, hey, Rosie, hey, girl, pick up the pace, get on video. Like, it's not going to tell you, oh, hey, there's this group over here with 8,000, moms who want to buy your thing. Like, they're not going to do the critical thinking for you necessarily. So spreadsheets, while I do use them, they're terrible storytellers. And so I want to talk to you guys about data art and how it's a tool, it's a process that helps you develop your marketing and leadership skills. So to me, it's part gratitude practice. When I do my data art, I'm literally going back over my month thinking, did I send them that invoice? Did I follow up with them? Wait, did I ask for the sale? So I'm having a sense of gratitude as I look back over, and I'll show you the infographic I'm referring to in a minute. So part of it's being grateful for the opportunity we have. Part of it's critical thinking. How could I have made this appointment better? How could I have presented a better visual? How could I have given them maybe more video for follow-up, right? So it's getting you to think clearly, so we don't always have to pay the business coach, $250 an hour to figure stuff out. I want to empower my clients to figure things out as they go. And then it's also a creative approach to awareness. I think it was Rosie was mentioning somebody earlier. I'm not going to say his name because we're going on YouTube with this. But when people don't want to open the mail, or they don't want to get the report in, or they don't even want to look at the data, to me, the creativity and the art makes it a little bit easier to be more aware of the success or failure of our business. And so if I make rejection pretty, it's a little bit more easy to stomach at the end of the day. Okay, so how did I get here? So me, myself, Marcel here in the bottom right, I started back in 2024 or 2014, 2016, angry, furious. My late husband had just passed. We were both victims of financial abuse, and I had my own slow sales. So I was like, WTF, this industry, money. Like, I was so mad and so livid. And it's actually, Brian was present, but one day at a Laugh Tech event, I ranted, and I was so mad and almost in tears. And I was telling the story of one client. She had her head so far in the effing sand because I was running this cool ad campaign, and we were reaching, thousands of people. And she's like, well, I don't care about the data. I just care about the people. And I'm like, but your people are going to be dependent on this ad campaign. And anyway, so I was upset. I did a lot of writing, and eventually I published in 2017 a book called Financial Joy, Know the Data Behind Your Dreams. This is not a financial advisor book. I will not tell you what stocks to buy. It's looking at your sales and marketing through the lens of patterns over like your net profit. How does that look? And now I'm presenting about it today in 2024. So I myself have gone through this circle many times where I go from, oh, WTF to, hey guys, there's a better way. You don't have to do it the way that your grandfather taught you to do it. And so with that, this is just a couple clips from Financial Joy. Heath, you might like this one. So on the left here, this is a green circle. It's got 30 days or 31 green dots, which are represented by days. And so your typical employee, they're going to get paid on the 1st and the 15th. Their salary, they're going to make whatever they make, and boom, they get paid twice. Now, in our line of work as sales professionals and business owners, we have the opportunity to get paid every day, whether it's from a $50 workshop or a $5,000 contract or commission checks or house sitting or whatever. We have an opportunity to add value to the marketplace every single day. Now, I recommend you take some days off here and there, but the patterns are very, very different of how money flows. And so I recommend, if you haven't yet bought Financial Joy, it's $20 online. It's a great, 30-minute read. If you were to do the activities, you would notice your own patterns. And so I tell people, while I find the patterns kind of cool and interesting, If you're looking at my data, it's not going to make much sense to you. This comes alive when we look at your data. And so I often challenge my clients, go get 30 no's this month. Like, go as far in the sales process as to get a no. If you're just making friends and having coffee and you don't actually say, hey, for 10 grand, I'll manage your social media this year, are you interested? Like, if you're just learning about their family, you're not actually doing what the seagull says, which is mine, mine, mine. And so I'm trying to get people to distinguish what is just a conversation, what is a sales appointment, what's a proposal or invoice, and what does a paycheck look like? Because those patterns are completely within our control. And to me, financial joy is I know what to do to generate my goal, whether that's 5 grand, 10 grand, or 20 grand, whatever your goal is, this is a skill that we've got to get really good at. So data art helps with that. Just a fun thing. So the net profit, I know Rosie gets hers and Brian gets his. I'm not sure if Emma and Heath are looking at your net profits yet, but to me, I'm gamifying it. I'm like, ooh, what'd you get last month? So Heath, even as we go into January, a new month, can we get you a watermelon? Maybe we're gonna get you a raspberry. I don't know, depending on how many sales appointments we book, at the end of the month, your net profit is gonna be pictured. Maybe you have a $14,000 month. Boom, you get a cucumber right out of the gate, right? That's rare. Usually people are gonna have blueberries and raspberries and strawberries that first season. But there are marketing tactics to ensure that you get, and I was just doing this with a client. He wants to hit a $45,000 month every month. I'm like, okay, well, we need to be pitching 45,000 a week, which we're not quite there yet. But so I really like to get clear with people on their numbers and their goals, because everybody's got a different kind of challenge. And I really geek out with people because I want them to know, is the social media working? So here's another example. On the left here, the activity might look like this. And so often with fresh salespeople, they look at one prospect and they will chase them all month long, hoping and praying and wishing that they say yes to me. Or maybe they get $1,000, or a $1,200 payment at the end of the month. And so I really advise my clients, don't chase just one. We need to have multiple people in the pipeline. We need to have a lot of people that we can ask the sale from. So you can see that visualized here in the second one. So looking at a $1,000 revenue month versus a $5,000 revenue, the activities are different. Social media helps us find more people, but social media does not replace the sales process. And that's part of what data art shows. You might be asking, Marcel, how did you get your one client to have $40,000 in a month? So I'm going to switch art projects for a moment. But this graphic here, looking at the internet on a larger scale, from 0 to 1 million. If I told you, okay, Heath, Brian, Rosie, you want to have your best month ever, we've got to start running ads. We've got to get a sales funnel in place that's converting, because the potential to have a $40,000 month means you're over here in the purple. Now, not everybody gets to the purple in their first year or even their first decade, but there are tactics that are not that hard for me to help you get into some of these larger columns. Another way to visualize this, and actually presenter pass. So again, most of these great presenters are presenting to 12 people in a boardroom or in a video that gets to 100 people. What if we were to say the campaign objective is to build momentum in the marketplace? And we're going to visualize our advertising and video results over here, getting into stage 3, 4, and 5. How do we get it in front of 1,000 people, 10,000, or 100,000 people? The game changes in stage 5, you guys. I absolutely guarantee it. But if we get stuck in stage 1 or 2, game over. It's just not necessarily game over. But and then this is one of my favorite ones from Miss July, Lisa Hawkinson, who was initially a PNA referral from me. But this woman, I helped her have, as little as $2,000 months, and our best month together was a $22,000 month. And we made a lot of video over the years. We didn't do a lot of advertising, but we did a lot of video. So at one point, she was getting so many referrals because she had built so much momentum in the marketplace. People just knew her and would send business to her. So check out her story back in July and read about it. You can see the digital assets we created, some of the videos, some of her favorite resources. But this is just kind of visualizing maybe 2 or 3 years worth of video activity. So again, not 1 year, but multiple years, multiple videos. Not every video is going to be a home run. Okay, back to sales snail Shelly here. So once we do data art, once we get excited about the data, we can then say money's moving. Money's always moving. Money comes, it goes. Anytime I see it in motion, I'm grateful, right? So whether you hear of somebody getting an inheritance because they bought insurance from Emma, or maybe they sold their mom's house and they're getting a chunk, or maybe they just had a good, $8,000 a month on their own. As we notice the dollars around us, it helps us go back to people for follow-up, because maybe they said no on Monday, but then 2 months later, their financial position is completely different. And so I'm shifting these people from being hesitant to being financially focused on how do I hit, if you need to pitch 30,000 this month to make 7, let's make sure we've got enough of people moving. It becomes fun. And also down here, the white, I don't know if you can see the little white bubbles, but I'm helping these folks develop a sphere of influence with Facebook groups, online networks, because you don't know where the money's going to come from. But once we have a strong sphere, we're going to be able to look back and say, hey, it came from this group or it came from that group. And in the top right, there's a couple seagulls, because like Brian, I always joke, he's one of my favorite seagulls because he sends me business all the time. I get so much business from Brian. So we want to train these people to have a sales force and not just be on their own with it. And then presenter Pat, they are going to advertise to advance. A lot of people don't like advertising. I'm a super big fan of it because you can literally reach millions for a couple $100 a month, maybe a couple thousand. But it's about developing powerful assets for them and having a clear direction. Because these are people at a place where like millions of people need to hear this. And when I say millions of people need to hear it, maybe only 100,000 actually need it, and maybe only 10,000 click, and 1,000 are going to go through the funnel, and then 100 will buy in that year. And so knowing those numbers becomes really, really, really important, because if you're just marketing to the same 10 people and only one of them hits, you're not buying that dream home this month, guys. I'm sorry. But if we're over marketing, if we're casting a very wide net and targeted, not just hit everybody in Washington State, but maybe we're targeting all the architects or all the realtors or all the home-based business owners, so we can get very specific with these, and these people then their whole career can change. Okay, and then this guy, they go from, oh, this is so lame and I hate the world, to, hey guys, here's what's possible. They're able to enthusiastically serve others and bring behavior change. So to me, financial joy, it's so much about awareness and gratitude. When people don't open the mail, they don't look at the report, they become potential victims to financial abuse because they're kind of seen as careless. People can take advantage of that. So I really want to inspire people. Know your numbers, know the data behind your dreams, be confident with your choices, because we really are, the captain of our own ship in that sense. And then writing Wendy here, she's turning her words into marketing collateral. So all those long sentences, all those paragraphs, we can actually take those words and turn them into content that looks beautiful on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook, or maybe an ad, right? A lot of the words you've even seen here today have come from my prior journals, right? But people sometimes need help synthesizing that information. And that's how I come alongside and help them and collaborate with creatives to improve the message and lesson. All right, one more slide, guys, and then I'll wrap it up here. So I have a little Christmas holiday bonus for you. So I do have a program called the Revenue Ringlet. I've actually upped the price recently so that I could incentivize some seagulls to get 50%. So I've bumped it from 800 to 2,000. And this is cool because if you know somebody who's like, oh my gosh, Marcel, Bob or Jane or Sarah here needs what you're doing. They want to learn about this. They want to get better, but they don't want to pay, maybe 10,000 a year for support. The Revenue Ringlet meets twice a month for 4 hours. So on the 11th and 22nd from 10 to 2. So it's office hours, and it's me more training and guiding versus me doing the work with you. This would be a great combination if you do want to hire me as your social media manager. But I'm offering $1,000 referral. So Brian, if you send me 2 people from DigitalPNA and you're just like, hey, Joe or Jeff or whoever you think, that's $1,000 back to you. That's a mighty big thank you. I know it seems intense, but in the world of internet marketing, 50% is fairly common. And if you know people that are VIP for this and they would bite, why not send them this particular PNA video, digital on YouTube in a couple of days, send them this, or just send them to the revenueringlet.com. And I'd be happy to send you a check as soon as they were to enroll. So I know Rosie's a new member. Brian's been a member for I think a year or 2 now. And it really focuses them in a way where you just don't always get that accountability. So with that, I'm going to say thank you so much. And thanks for the idea, Heath, on what to talk about.
Awesome.
Really good job, Marcel. Thank you very much. Do me a favor, put your put your contact information in the chat window. Okay. So let's open it up for questions before we go into the speech breakout.
I got a question.
Yeah, do it. Go for it.
So, Marcel, so when you were talking, I was thinking about I'm joining a restaurant membership bookkeeping thing.
Mhm.
And I've just thought about restaurants in general. I don't think a lot of the markets, like I have one client, right, that's in Granite Falls, and he keeps talking about how he's struggling, right? You know, financially and everything else. And I can see that, like I see his financials, right?
Mhm.
So I'm thinking in my head, he's 23 years old. How he's in the reserves, serves and everything. So he's busy, and then he works on a farm. And I'm thinking, how much marketing has he done for his restaurant? And so I guess, like, guide me as far as how I would talk to restaurant owners, because I don't think a lot of them market at all, when I think they have like a huge opportunity just to do videos of people coming in, having
Mhm.
a beer, having a drink,
Yeah.
or
So
whatever.
two great questions you could ask anybody out there at happy hour or talking to a client.
Mhm.
Do you have a documented sales plan? And have you ever worked with a social media manager?
Mhm.
Because to hire a marketing expert is 60,000 to 200,000 a year for like a larger corporation. To pay somebody like me 10 grand for the year to make sure they have content going out there and to guide them and encourage them, way more affordable than a full-time employee,
Mhm.
right? So, but I would ask them, do you have a documented sales plan? Everybody who's underproducing will likely say no. And while I do a lot of social media stuff, the first thing I start with is, what is their sales plan? With that, what are my scripts? How do I book an appointment? What's the sphere of influence? Because that's where the Facebook groups and all these LinkedIn groups is like, how do we, get in on those threads? They're like, hey, I need a contractor in Bothell. And you get, 30 replies. Now competing with those other restaurants or those other people becomes really, really important, because if you have a crappy little image or just a text post, is that going to beat out 30 other hungry people? Probably not. What about a
Mhm.
video? Even a video in those little threads can compete. And that's where some professionals really do have to compete. And if they're not even there, yeah, their business is going to slow down.
Yeah,
Okay.
great question.
And they can always go to dreamosity.com and get a free 15-minute consult. So that's an option.
Okay. Cool.
Emma.
I might bring some people your way,
Let's
so
do it, girl.
stay
Let's do
tuned.
I got a question for you. So I've heard you a few different times with your business and different things that you've mentioned. And I guess I have a couple people I know who are in businesses, but I find that recently more and more people are kind of not fans of social media and trying to go away from that and find more organic ways of marketing and things like that. Do you work with clients that are focused that way? And if so, what are some ways that you can kind of help them with that?
Yeah, so people who are resistant they'll usually blame Facebook doesn't work. They don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to make it work for them. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, I've got a client right now, she's like, oh, it's a black hole. I just get in there and I watch and I get sucked in. Part of that is learning the boundaries of saying, hey, I'm gonna hop on Facebook. I'm gonna be intentional with this 15 minutes and I'm gonna post in these 6 spaces on, like, to support my goal versus, oh, they're grandbabies, oh, the cute puppy, all the things, right? So there's a lot of coaching I do to get people to have being on offense versus defense with social media. And then I'm very much I'm pro radio. If you can run TV ads, great. Car wraps. If people tell me they have no, but they got $400, that's it. Go get a magnet for your car, drive around town, right? So like I do embrace other methods because there's a lot of ways to get your name out there. I just know that a lot of people, if they're not busy, it's like, well, what are you doing with those 2 hours in your day? What if I could
Mm-hmm.
show you how to hop on Instagram and go get 16 leads in an hour, right? Or how to go find 14 people complaining about X, Y, and Z in these groups, right? So when people don't know how to use it as a sales tool, yeah, it's a black hole and it's very overwhelming. And so I do like to help people know that sometimes, yeah, just be leisure and scroll and enjoy your network. And sometimes it's like I'm building out a very specific pathway to profitability, which can help them, love Facebook. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, Brian.
Something you forgot to mention, and I have to give you a plug. You've taught me, as well as multiple others, how to use video in anything from email campaigns to just having it up on a YouTube page and either hoping people get there or give them the scripting and the skill sets to deliver really great, succinct messages that can be used on social media, but also can simply be up there for the subscriber base, because then it creates an archive of information. And that's where a lot of people are also going and opting, because they're opting out of social media, they're going onto YouTube. They're watching endless videos all day long, and or it's a search engine that's used almost as much as the big search engines for data, for learning, for content creation. So
yeah, I did just drop my YouTube channel in the chat there. I'm coming up on 60,000 views, so I'm excited about it. YouTube is very much a social network. People forget and they think it's a search engine, but you can collaborate with any other channel out there. So part of what I'll help people do is create an interview strategy, and how do we actually cross-pollinate information, tell the story differently, because if a certain type of video is not working, there's hundreds of video content ideas or strategies that we could be leveraging if what you've been doing the last 3 months doesn't work. And that's why I want people to get their net profit every month, not just at the end of the year, because you don't want to find out at the end of the year it wasn't working. Like, it's too late in the last 2 minutes of a football game to know how to come back, right? You gotta tweak your strategy each month.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Any other questions for Marcel?
Yes.
Go for it, Heath.
Well, Marcel and I are going to meet right after this event, but so I can save a lot of that for there. But Marcel, because we've communicated about this many times, I'm social media hesitant. And I'm not a boomer. I missed boomer by like 2 years. I used to be very active on social media, and then I feel like 3 or 4 years ago something flipped. I'll just use Facebook as my example. And I used to be able to go and see the majority of my contacts, my friends, whatever you want to call them, and see what they're posting. Now it takes me an hour or more, just to get 25 of them, to see. It's mostly 3 or 4. I counted the other day, I ran into 5. 2 were ads and 3 were posts by people that I'm not even friends with, that I think Facebook suggests them, to me, and as well as some other groups. So that's been, kind of my main concern, is like, if I'm going to go put all this time and energy into putting content there, is it actually going to get seen? Do you think the groups are better versus just having like a business page?
Yeah, so like Presenter Pat, if people are presenting, I always want them to have a business page, because then we can do paid ads. And there's a time and a place to do paid ads. Not every month, but like, say you've kind of disqualified most of your network and they're all happy in their careers and they've got funding, like they're set. But what if we want to target a very specific person within 25 miles? Now an ad for $50, $100 can target brand new people. So now you're interrupting their scroll. And with the right message, the right visual, you can absolutely get people to click through, come check you out. So from a leverage standpoint, yeah, you can network all day long until you're blue in the face, meeting the same 20 people over and over and over and over again. Or we could actually focus different categories throughout the time. Now, with that, I love groups. I think you, as a financial funding person, should have a group around creative ways to raise money. Like, I think for you to own a group, you would build momentum and leadership, and I could help you do that, because then your ask is, hey, join my group. I'll help you learn how you could easily get, $30,000. And then you've got kind of a home base for people to come and learn about you. It could also be YouTube playlists and that type of thing. The search engine strategy is a little bit different than the social group strategy, and I think together they could be really powerful for you.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about a little bit more about that later. And from the platform perspective, you talk a lot about Instagram. I've never had an Instagram. For me, that used to be for, my daughter, and her friends when she was little. Now I guess it's, much more than it was. I've been, again, social media hesitant, SMH. to, go ahead and sign up for another one of those things, only to feel disappointed by what I'm able to actually see or consume. I want to consume what I want to consume, not what they keep forcing down my throat.
Yeah, and I think for you, the biggest muscle to build is content creation. How do you create messages where other people are watching and sharing them? Because yeah, the consumer path
Yeah,
of
you're right.
only being a consumer, it kind of does become a waste of time. But if in terms of like profitability, but if you're creating a 30-second reel every other day and you're outpacing your competition, whoever else is doing funding, all of a sudden Rose is going to be finding your videos, I'll be finding them, other people start sharing them because we all have new businesses on the scene that need funding potentially. And so we could easily say, hey, go check out our buddy Heath, the XYZ Instagram handle, and then go watch some of his videos. And then by the time they call you, they're like, oh, Heath, it's so good to like finally, like now you're not talking cold or starting cold. They're like,
Yep,
thank you
yep.
so much.
You're scrambling my eggs right now. It's working. Good job.
Awesome.
It sounded painful. um, that's the best response to a question ever. Okay, Emma, go ahead.
Well, and not really a question. I just noticed something here that you do that's very helpful is that I think a lot of people get in mindsets of stuff, and you have a nice way of helping like switch it so that you're not, because I think that is what people do is they create what it is to themselves, and it's not always what it really is. So I think that's a really helpful.
Yeah, like what I just did.
Yeah, no, I mean, I saw that, and I'm sitting here too going through that because I feel the same. And so it's nice to kind of hear how you're able to switch that opinion on people. So
Yeah.
that's really helpful.
Well, and just real quick, in Heath's situation, I don't know one thing about what he's getting into from the standpoint of corporate credit. I never knew there was a corporate credit rating system versus a Tom, Dick, or Jane off the street corporate rating system. I didn't know. If you're not exposed to something, you don't know. So it automatically gets me excited for Heath's world and potentially what he could accomplish with guidance from Marcel, not assuming there's going to be a business relationship there, but who knows, right? Because there's so many things he could do to say and do and show. And you might not be taking over a market, Heath. You might be creating and leading a market by clearly explaining what the hell it is, much less how somebody can do it, qualify for it. What are the benefits? What are the T's and C's? What are the risks? All that great stuff. Each one of those could be a subject point. So to me, that's really exciting.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of spinning going on. The hamster's getting tired.
Okay, so we've covered yolk and scrambled eggs. Now we're up to hamsters. Before I said you're going to need a bigger fruit. Who knows what's next here?
Oh, okay. I had some good comebacks for that one, but I'll keep it appropriate.
That are probably appropriate. Okay. We're going to go ahead and jump into the speech breakout. Let's give Marcel an opportunity to throw her shoes and feet up onto the table, relax, and do her darndest not to contribute unless we need her, because we're going to do a deeper dive into what we just experienced, what we just watched and witnessed and heard and discussed. Let's talk about target market, okay? What businesses people and or businesses would benefit, would need the presenter, in this case, Marcel's services. For starters, definitely people involved with scrambled eggs, hamsters, and hard money lending and credit. So I think we've beaten that dead horse. Great, so now we have a dead horse. Any other ideas?
I think restaurants actually really go into my head, even if they're not my client. Like I'm constantly at restaurants, and I really think restaurants are lacking in the social media world. Like I see a few, but I don't see a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if they just got creative enough, people will want to go and check them out, So.
Great idea. Okay.
Yeah. And I think of like more the services type things like, auto detailers and home cleaners, office cleaners as well. People that do things, for other people, for a fee. They could show do a video showing, the before and after of a home, or, I see them on Facebook. The auto detailers do a good job of doing that. The ones that I see, but yeah, those are ones that I think are great targets.
It's a great idea. Also keep in mind, again, Marcel covered very specific things today. She is phenomenal at working with authors. She's phenomenal at working with speakers. Those are folks that often don't make money off the book, for example. They make money off the speaking engagements. I know that sounds like a bit of a laugh tech thing, but again, she and I merged our businesses together essentially, or together created that business baby of Laugh Tech because she was already working with that type of caliber person who wasn't good on video, didn't know how to handle social media, didn't know how to market his, her, or their new thing, whatever that was. So that's someone that we can keep an eye out for as well. Any other thoughts?
I would also say business owners in general who are taking on too much themselves. I think a lot of times the marketing aspect they try to do themselves. And I think this would be a good way to relieve that weight on their shoulders, but also have it done in a much more professional way, so they'll probably get the results they're looking for.
Great idea. Great idea. Thank you for that. Okay, so this kind of leads in or bleeds into the key conversations, right? What triggers a referral? What kind of things could we be listening for? And at the same time, where do we want to be helping her from the standpoint of, I know this isn't syndications yet, but from the leaving, tagging her information out there?
Well, I can go ahead.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Emma. Go for it.
Oh, I was going to say some key triggers are definitely hearing people say that they are like sick of social media, don't like having to use it, aren't comfortable with it, trying to get away from it, to try to help, revert their mind back to it. And then I would say some beneficial syndicators would definitely be, posting her on our social medias and stuff to kind of let people know, if you think my social's not great, here's somebody you could reach out, could actually help make it better, stuff like that, or things like that.
I love that. Rosie, you had something?
Yeah, so I, just thinking kind of along the same lines where, what I hear a lot from clients, that I have like, restaurant clients. That's why I kind of hit that, where they're just saying, I'm not making enough, or I know, thinking about selling my business because I'm not making enough, But, because for me, I can say and look at it and say, yeah, you're not making a lot. But now I'm thinking along the lines of, well, you're not making enough. And that's where Marcel was saying, you can ask them if they have a sales plan, or, if they have goals, or, how's their social media looking? What are they doing to advertise, basically? So those are a lot of like conversations that I tend to have with clients of mine, because they are constantly worried about how much money they're bringing in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense. Awesome.
Yeah, I want to throw one other idea out there that's in this key conversations right now. In fact, I was involved in one that earlier this morning. People are putting together their business plans for 2025 that include their marketing plans. So I was on with a mortgage company, and I was listening to their people, describe what their marketing plans were, what their three different primary funnels of generating business were going to be, and I hopped off after 25 minutes. It was, people are so bad, and the way they think about how they're gonna for example, well, I'm going to hit all the real estate offices. Well, if you really looked around, all realtors work from home now. Nobody has hardly anybody goes to the office anymore. I mean, I live right next to Google, and the place is a ghost town, all day, every day. So, but the people that are trying to plan their year, Marcel would be a great referral. That's my next thing at 1:30 is to meet with Marcel.
That's awesome. Good. Okay. Beneficial syndications. Where do we want to see her stuff, or where can we be sharing her stuff out into the world? I think Emma touched upon that. I will encourage first, within 24 hours, this recording is going to be available on the PNA Northwest YouTube channel. How many of you are fans of that channel? How many of you subscribe to it? 3 hands did not go up. Okay, Marcel, can you put that in the chat window?
I just subscribed to Marcel.
Well, you're getting closer, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I'm PNA adjacent now.
So every one of our presentations, including Emma's first presentation with DigitalPNA, it's up there. I encourage you guys and gals to get up there and share those things out. And remember, you can post a YouTube link on Facebook, on any of the other social medias as well. It drives viewership. It helps. Why is my hand stuck up? That's right, because I did that. It does it. Anyway, so think about that. Any other ideas?
Isn't that what she does?
Way to get out of answering the question.
What's interesting about that is it's hard for me to go around saying, hey, look at my video, it's amazing, right? I do that for my clients. And so sometimes I need people like you to be like, hey, look at Marcel's video, isn't it amazing? Look at her publication. She featured my friend Brian. You know, like it's hard for me to always toot my own horn because I'm tooting other horns.
Self-promotion is so hard.
It is hard.
It is, folks. And I want to mirror what Marcel says. It's very difficult. And to some people who, especially the trolls out there, it's looked at as selfish, you know, or just one other tool that they want to use against you. And that's complete garbage, right? We're all business owners or work for businesses, and we need to A, feed ourselves, B, survive, etc. And we should be able to toot our own horn. So there you go. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Any other ideas? Syndication standpoint? Okay. Other categories. I'm actually going to bring the screen over to this next one as well. What categories here you think would benefit her as well as other ones you've got floating around in your beautiful brains?
So one we talked about in the Seattle group this morning.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to, which is auto broker.
I don't see why not. Yeah.
I will do social media for a free car. I'm just saying, like, so I will like talk about the car everywhere I go, but I will not do video in the car, just outside of the car.
No, I agree with that. Also, copywriter, copy editor, 2 very different roles if you're not aware. Yes, things like ChatGPT, et cetera, are slowly replacing us in that regard, but not yet, because there's a difference between the way a robot formulates versus the way you talk. Casual talk, sales talk, there's different methodologies behind that. A photographer and videographer, I would love to get in this group, and frankly, any other physical chapter, because they tend to be very in-depth and skilled, as well as have a wide breadth of influence and contacts from the referral perspective. Any other thoughts?
I had a few. Some retail business owners. I know I see jewelry, custom jewelry, but I was thinking of like clothing boutiques that are maybe like specialty. Someone's designing their own stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Artists in general, maybe. I'm trying to get their art out.
Yeah.
And what was the other one I had? Sorry, my brain just stopped there. I'll come back to it. Maybe I'll come back to it. Sorry. That's what I got somewhere.
That's perfect though. And you're raising an amazing point too, because again, these are businesses that you've mentioned, for example, that don't think a business networking environment is for them, or that they're even allowed. And that's a total misnomer. That's not true. If you're already selling online, coaching online, moving products, shipping things, don't need to be tied to a zip code. Perfect scenario.
Can I say, so I talked to a fine artist recently, and he's like, do not go through the fine art community with data art. Try the crafting community. So like his nose was so high up. But like crafters, scrapbookers, watercolor artists, people teaching classes, like anybody in that creative space, like data art could blow up with the right set of artists around me, because I don't think that, no offense, Rosie, the bookkeepers and the accountants are going to be my like, they're not going to be marching this army, I think, but I think the creatives, people like Brian, people who love to play and to create and make something beautiful, I think the more of that creative vibe, they're going to go to bat for me. Whereas I think the bookkeeper, I don't know. We'll see, Rosie. Time will tell. Maybe you will be my biggest advocate. I know you got one client that I really want to help her. So we'll see.
I will fight Rosie for that spot to maintain it, just for the record.
Yeah, let's have a contest.
I want to watch. I'd buy tickets to that.
I will. She's tiny. She's pocket size. I'll just fold her up and stick her in my pocket. We'll call it good.
Oh my goodness.
All right, awesome. Any other thoughts for any of the business categories that we could bring in? Maybe that's not on the list that would help her referral network grow as well as ours from the standpoint of a butt in seat. I think we're pretty good, actually. Okay.
That was great. Thank you.
Zoom just popped up with a warning. We're going to lower your hand if you don't need it for in the next 5 seconds. Fine, lower the damn hand. AI things. Okay. Makes me crazy. Okay, we're at the referrals and testimonials time. My favorite part of the meeting. Hopefully Marcella is going to do her job during that period, which is tracking as VP. Anybody have a referral or testimonial that they'd like to share?
I will give a testimonial about you, Brian.
Okay.
No, I wanted to say thank you for referring Hope. So we talked to this last week, and she was very grateful that I actually was able to do like a same day appointment. So that's how eager she was. And by the end of the conversation, I just said, so when do you think that we can, I can follow up with you again? No pressure, as far as signing or not signing. I just need to know for my own head. And she was like, I'd actually like to go ahead and move forward. I was like, okay, then.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. So thank you. And you are now officially my client too, because I saw that you signed the contract.
You're stealing all my thunder.
Oh, sorry. Well, then you can go next. So
okay. All right. So anything else, or can I take back some of the before mentioned thunder? Yeah. So guess what, everybody? I have left my bookkeeper team of actually 18 years because I noticed and I just set it off for the longest time that they were just charging me more and more and more and more for the same amount of services. And for most of you who know me well enough, I don't market my design business that much. I could, but it's pretty much a business that I could happily leave by the wayside because I'm old and crunchy. And again, AI is replacing me and Fiverr is replacing me and Canva, Marcel, is replacing me. So it can be frustrating. But they were charging me an average of about $350 a month for probably less than an hour worth of work. And that's just not cool. So Marcel is my new bookkeeper. And she,
not Marcel, Rosie.
I'm sorry, Rosie's my.
Don't want me up in your book.
Sorry.
I'll help you write a book though. But
yeah, I don't want you doing paintings of all my numbers instead of the actual bookkeeping. But yes, so Rosie is my new bookkeeper. I'm very excited about that, and I am thrilled to hear that Hope, a previous PNA member, has become part of your growing pound puppy collection of clients since you are my bulldog. So that's fantastic. Okay, anyone else?
Well, my ongoing thanks to Brian too, but please share out Mr. November because you guys, I'm watching the metrics on this and he is getting some good long reading. And I want you to spend 4 to 5 minutes, but then share it with people, whether you email it, text it, share it up on LinkedIn. At Dreamosity, I'm really positioning myself to have a platform for people doing great work in the world. So any one of you could be featured in a future month, just saying that. Also, thanks to Heath for the ongoing opportunity. I'm very excited to talk to you later. And what else was I going to say? I just like brain farted. Oh, Brian, yesterday. So we did this training for the kids and he was fantastic and I was adorable and we were a great team. And if you guys know anybody else that has like teenagers or young adults or sales teams, we love to train. And when we can get a room of like 70, 80 people together, magic happens. I mean, I love a small group, but a big group, oh, so fun.
It was awesome.
That was fun.
She's the best teaching partner out there. I will fight anybody who wants to battle me on that one too. Heath, bring it. Okay, any other referrals or testimonials?
Oh, my other one was for Heath. So tonight, we'll see. I have
You
an
scared
office
me.
space. I'm looking at commercial space here in Mill Creek, only $2 a square foot, you guys. So I could get a large training room for fairly affordable. Now, a funding solution might help make this dream come true. I don't want to like bank on my own sales skills. And anyway, we'll see. But Heath, I want to show you that. And you sent me a couple people recently for that, but I would rather use you than them. So stay.
I will come up to TAP tonight.
Yeah, it's like we walk across the parking lot. I could show you the space. So I mean,
Yeah,
not
perfect. I think it starts at 4:30, and that's not that far away. So
I
yeah,
thought it
I'll
was
come
at
up.
Rusted Cork. I know
Rustic Cork,
over
yeah.
there.
Yeah, Rusted Cork. I
Right,
get those two confused.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna be there too. Yay. Okay. All right, Emma. I guess you're the only one that hasn't said anything. It's totally fine. Just want to make sure you good.
Yeah, I actually was gonna ask. I wanted to do some one-on-ones, but I was trying to reach out to Christina for that, but I didn't know how to get in touch with her. Is there a way to like we can send like the emails for everyone in an email or something? So
Yeah,
I
so
can.
Marcel sends out the notes essentially. You're
Okay.
just to reply all, or of course snag Christina's,
Got
and
it.
her email is kind of weird. It's like PS-admin or something, so it may
Okay.
not be automatically recognizable as Christina's. But
Gotcha.
yeah, she's just under the weather. So
And I apologize, because last session I had my new team member join. I didn't ask her to do minutes though, so I'm guessing there was no minutes last week.
oh,
But
that's right.
so sorry
Right,
if I forgot one.
here.
But Emma, if you can send me your email real quick in chat, I'll make sure I have it. So I'll get it to you.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see if I have to bring up the screen again, because it's not really necessary, but I guess I can. No. I will in a minute. Speaker rotation. I want to cover that before we move on to announcements and stuff. Ironically, Christina was supposed to present today. I made an error, and I texted Marcel saying, "You're speaking tomorrow," and she was like, "Okay, cool." It was actually supposed to be Christina, but she's sick, so it worked out. So we're going to have her speak on December 18th. So there actually is one more meeting in 2024. So December 18th will be Christina, barring her condition. So hopefully she'll be okay. And then get this, first speaker. I want to make sure that we're clear on January. Because of the holiday, the New Year's, and everyone's still recovering, January 8th will be our first meeting of the year. And then because that's weird, we're just moving everything a week forward. January 22nd will technically be Mara. So Heath and Mara are next up. And I want to be extra clear, if Mara can't speak because of her crazy pickleball world opening up a ginormous facility of awesome, Rosie, you're on target for February 15th. I might move you back to the 22nd. Okay? Okay, very good. We don't have any guests, so I'm not going to go through pricing. Oh, someone asked me privately in email, am I raising the prices? No, I'm not going to. No.
Thank you.
I don't want to. I mean, I actually do, because why not? But no, I'm not. $600 a year. That's what you're all paying. But either way, it's not changing. We are at announcements now. I have a couple quick things. Anyone else have something before I flash the screen to the share action?
In the chat, I just dropped the Engaged Mill Creek is tonight at Rusted Fork. So if anybody needs details for that, that's happening.
Awesome. I wish you were local, Emma. You're still local. I know you moved out to sunnier pastures, but
I'll come in the springtime. I'm just not a fan of cold weather, so that's all.
Party,
it's good for you.
It's, yeah, I mean, color is overrated. Come on.
Yeah.
Goodness. Anything else announcements wise? Okay. Let me go to the hit the share screen then just real quick. I want to remind everybody, we've got the PNA Christmas party. What? December 9th now. It was the I don't know. It was the 12th. Now it's the 9th. Different location. It's at Wheelie Pop, located in the Bothell Mill Creek area. So please, I'll put this in the link in the chat if you don't have the link, RSVP, so you can get the address and all that fun stuff. But it's going to be a good time. Double, triple reminder. Bring an ugly sweater if you want to be part of that. I heard the prize is pretty cool. If you want to bring some form of gift, you can be entered into the raffle. Everyone that shows up will be part of the raffle. But if you want a minute on the mic and then an opportunity to raffle off your then prize right there in front of everybody, it's fun exposure. So if you want to, please do it. And then it is catered. Hope this doesn't sound funny to anybody, but we've done Qdoba for the past couple of years and everyone loves it. So I just paid the damn bill. It's not cheap, but I did it again. So whoops, I did it again. I pulled a Brittany. So we'll have Qdoba there. And other folks have also asked if they can bring a dessert or bring a favorite dish they want to share. Sure, doesn't matter to me. Go for it. There'll be plenty of space at the location. Beer and wine and sodas will be available to purchase on site at the tasting room, the quote unquote bar. So not only will you be supporting that local business, which is definitely in need of help and exposure, we'll all have a good time. And I don't need the guilt of supplying alcohol to people because I don't roll that way. Then comedy night shows it right there. If anybody wants to come out, our last show of the, I mean, Emma, this is the reason to come back to us, for crying out loud. Our last show of the year. I'm actually stoked about this. Dwayne Goad is a reasonably clean, very funny. He always reminds me of Drew Carey, like back in his spectacle wearing years. But anyway, great fun show, good lineup, excited about that. Any PNA person can get in, even at the door at the $20 online price versus 25. So that's what I got there regarding the events. Does anybody else have anything else they want to share or talk about it? We've got actually 10 minutes left because we're down like 4 or 5 people. 4, I think. You're on mute, Marcel. I saw your lips going, so.
Whoever has the photo or the doodle, please send it my way. Rosie, I still don't have your text, so that's odd.
So
Yeah,
I'm
just
going to
double
make
check.
let me comment on that. I volunteered myself to doodle. I've got a few, but Marcel, your presentation was so engaging. I literally forgot to doodle. And
That's
then
okay.
after it was over, I forgot that I was doodling. So it's kind of only partial today. I'm sorry.
And I'm happy in a one-to-one to show you going through that month of what that looks like. So quick, short story, but I had a financial advisor years ago and she was like, oh my gosh, this was the best illustration of what your profit and loss really means. Like, because like financial advisors aren't trained accounting stuff, right? And accountants don't tend to be teachers, but it's a really cool demonstration to actually do it live. So if you ever want to.
Yeah, I do want to walk through that. I feel there's a way I can incorporate that into what I'm doing now. So I've got to make that mental connection, but I will.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome. Anything else?
Oh, I was going to give Brian a shout out again for PNA Bothell. I went there this morning and I represented Laugh Tech. It was so fun. They're a good group. If you guys have never been, go check them out on a random Wednesday morning. They're a really good crew.
Are they still online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. They never ever even made an effort to get back to a location because they knew that the Bothell Police Department, which is where we did meet for the longest time, shut down the facility and just said nope to anybody in general. So.
And does anyone want to get referral money from me? Like, are you guys excited about that? Did that kind of tickle your imagination or your purse strings at all?
Anybody who says no is an idiot. So yes.
Well, and if you need more information, let me know because you 4 are my like VIP potential seagulls going into 2025 because I want to train you if you need something extra. I'll give you free coaching if you need it, but like I want to make sure you have what you need to get people to the revenueringlet.com because that's really where I want you to send them. And then just if you're like, hey, I'm sending you, John, or whoever, send me a quick email. I sent John to your website, right? He's going to follow up with you. He needs your magical data or whatever. So feel free to send me a secondary email and then I can kind of do the follow up and invite them officially. But I would love your support on that. Go ahead, Brian.
I also want to advise everybody, and this is going to sound weird, and Marcel will get mad at me, but I need you to understand that I've been with Marcel neck to neck, hip to hip in business now for over 10 years. She has the biggest, most beautiful brain that blows my mind and makes me feel like a moron all the time. If any of you feel that what you just saw in the presentation was awesome, grab onto that and then have a meeting with her and find out more. Because, for example, when she's showing the circle of all the little green dots, that's actually a calendar. And that's from her first book, Financial Joy. And the reason I'm saying that is in the graphics today, that was wicked small. I heard you say wicked smart at one point, but it was really, really small. So understand that for people who are visually attuned, kinesthetic learners, or reward system people, right? She takes the month, turns it into a wreath, and whether you're picking fruit or flowers or nuts or bolts or men things or lady things or whatever, you're using those icons to adorn that calendar that's in a wreath format to make it visually appealing. And from that, month to month, you start to see gaps. And from those gaps, you then go, what the hell? And then you go back to Marcel and say, how do I fill those gaps? I need more flowers over there, or I need a kumquat, or a bigger fruit, or a bigger nut, or a bigger bolt, whatever. So even for dudes, right, like Heath, manly man, I've talked to her before about why is it always flowers and foofy stuff? It's not because I'm a dude, but because I think it should apply to everyone's style. And then finally she went that to me and said, Brian, use whatever icons you want to, you moron. Right?
I have a
so it works
one
for people. So point is, she's broken the calendar because we're all stupid spreadsheet marketing idiots, and she made it fun and visually appealing. And I myself have done a wreath. Thank you very much. And it showed where those things were gap wise. It helps decrease the sales cycle, helps you close things faster, and also helps you even monitor when the hell you're going to be paying out your own bills, because you know closed business is happening over a quarter. So, for example, that's, it took me years to get to that point with her because I didn't know what questions to ask, but she can help you on epic scales. And that will then get you to become a better referrer to her. And apparently make tons of dough now. Does that make sense? Okay, done. Anything else? Anybody? Oh, Marcel's got stuff she's popping in the chat window.
I just dropped a link. If you guys want to follow on Financial Joy, it's a little bit different audience than Dreamosity. If you go to Financial Joy and then you click the Photos tab, you can just do a kind of a quick scroll of a bunch of recent photos. About 20 down, there's one with the football ones, which I also linked. Because again, like, here's a funny story. I had one gal, she's like, I'm good with sales, but could it help me with my fitness? I was like, sure, just put a little star or, heart anytime you put your sports bra on. She laughed and she did it. She came back with she was like, I really wanted to get it every day because it's so easy where you skip a day and then you skip 5 days and then all of a sudden you're like 3 weeks in and you've never gone to the gym. But just the act of putting a sports bra on for her was like, I'm focusing on fitness, even 10 minutes or an hour, but it's just, you could track any type of pattern with data art. And that's what's cool is it doesn't have to be just sales and marketing focused.
Awesome. Anything else from anybody? You're all deep in thought and typing things. I can tell. All right. I'm calling this good. I'm calling this turkey cooked. I hope you all had a great holiday. We will see you all, and hopefully the rest of our members, on the 18th, bright and early. And please bring a guest. That'd be peachy. Hey, Emma, all those cool artisans you were talking about, bring one of them, especially if they're like jewelry makers or something cool. We can market the crap out of them to PNA, right? 12 other chapters. That'd be awesome. Okay. Awesome. Mic drop.
Thanks, guys.
Have a great rest of your day. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Marcel, do you have the notes? Did you do the thing? Oh, she's already gone. Poof. I'll download
Have a good day, guys.
just in case. Bye.
Bye.